Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
This is the Cinereelists, episode 652. My name is Kyle.
My name is James.
My name is Galen.
And we're here to talk movies, movie lists, and movie obsession for the next hour or so. That was adorable.
How's it going, Galen?
Good.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
You've been on, is this maybe your third time talking on the podcast?
Third.
Yeah. Third time, but the first time to talk about a new movie, like in full, right? To talk about the whole movie. Yeah. I'm excited about it. Just so people at home know, how old are you?
I am 9. My birthday was yesterday.
Oh, we barely caught you at 9.
Just made 9. Yep. He's
Just made 9.
a fresh 9-year-old.
Perfect timing. So when you saw the movie, you were 8.
Yeah.
But now you're 9.
Yeah.
So technically, this is an 8-year-old perspective, not a 9-year-old's perspective. Is that right?
I can picture a 9-year-old's person.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
He's going to channel his inner 9-year-old and really
Sure.
try and bring that voice out.
Perfect. Awesome. How are things going up there, guys? Any natural disasters heading your way?
No, we're pretty flood free. How about yourself,
right.
James?
I mean, flood free so far. This is it's Monday night, and it's not looking good for Florida, I would say. We've got a hurricane on the way, and managed to dodge here in Orlando. We managed to dodge by far the worst of Helena or whatever
I think
the last one was. Helene. Yeah, that's how much it affected me. I can't even remember the name of the hurricane. But it looks like we're not going to get so lucky with Milton, which if everything happens the way they say it's going to happen, is going to come right down the road directly over my place.
Yeah, I like this morning I was reading the news and right on Milton's a Hurricane 3, and then this afternoon they're like it's a hurricane or a Category 5 now. Like it just within a couple hours they got a big upgrade. And
yeah, they're saying it'll be a 3, possibly a 2, 1 if we're lucky by the time it gets to Orlando.
Right. Yeah.
Which all sounds great, but even a Hurricane 1 is like enough to do some serious damage, especially if you get caught in a tornado path or something like that.
It's a lot of wind and a lot of water.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good for sure. So, we're whispering on the podcast.
You're whispering into my ear with the earphone in it. What are you whispering? Okay, hold on. We're gonna have a little conference over here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Right.
What are you whispering to me?
I'll play some music.
Okay. Oh, Galen wants to play a game on this episode.
He wants to play a game?
Yeah.
I'm down.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
we'll have to play it like in the moment. What game? Is there a specific game or any game?
what's it called?
Chain reactions.
Chain reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of don't remember how to play that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, so one person name a movie, a second person names an actor from that movie, then and that person has to name a different movie that actor is in.
Nice. Do you want to be our official games master? Because clearly you remember the games better than we do.
Yes. Okay.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to get to talk the wild robot with you, Galen. We're also going to talk wolves and play a game, obviously, of course.
It's like jazz today. We're just gonna improvise as we go.
Sure. Before we jump into all of that, though, I heard you guys might have a check-in.
We do.
All
Yeah. So Galen and I did see, and Megan saw the wild robot.
right.
Oh no, Meg was not there.
Yeah.
We went with our friends Gene and Theo to see Wild Robot. So we saw a movie on Friday, but we also, with Megan, your mom, saw a movie on Saturday. What movie did we see?
From the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Ooh.
And maybe people aren't familiar with The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Can you tell people like either what year or what era it came out, or kind of what makes this movie different than like movies most 9-year-olds be watching?
It's it's labeled the first horror movie,
Oh, okay.
and it was filmed in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and it's from 1920 something.
Yeah, 1920. Yeah.
And it it looks like a like it. So what in the movie, it was like a silent movie. So what it would be is like you'd see their lips moving, and then there would be like a green screen, but like not kind of like the green screen they use today, but like dark green, and then light green words that are in German. So they gave us subtitles that say the actual words.
So not only could you not understand what they were saying because you couldn't hear any audio when they talked, but then when they did the card on the screen, you couldn't read the text either.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we needed subtitles.
Yes.
Subtitles for the text on the screen.
Right. So this was a silent movie, but what was there? It wasn't silent when we saw the movie. What was accompanying the movie?
A live organ player.
Oh, really? A live one. There was
Yeah.
somebody in the room with an
Yeah.
organ.
There was someone in the room playing organ, and they played the crap out of that organ for like 75 straight minutes. I was super
Wow.
impressed. Yeah.
That's crazy. How was that to see that? You know, like the way you watched it is how people watched it like 100 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, that is very crazy.
For sure. All movies used to be like that.
Yeah. Just it was the movie and then whoever's there to make music.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So what did you think of that movie?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked the story. I
Okay.
liked that it I don't really know.
Without spoiling too much, kind of what's it about? Like, what's the setup for the movie?
Yeah,
It's
don't spoil the
about
104-year-old movie.
Hey, there is, this being a 104-year-old horror movie, there's a twist to it. Like, I've seen this movie before. I forgot the twist. So
I haven't
like,
seen it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's like it's got everything that modern horror has.
I've seen 4,000 movies.
wow.
And guess what? You've seen one I've never seen.
All right, it's pretty impressive. Yeah. Who's the actual
So-
film lover here, Galen?
Well, he can be a film lover. I'm not a film lover. So, was it scary
At times.
at times? Okay.
Yeah,
Was it
like
silly at times?
yes.
Okay. What was silly about it? Like the makeup or the costumes?
Yeah, like on one of the characters, like which I thought was kind of silly, like they had like a white glove, but you know in like some cartoons they have like the stripes on the glove?
Mm-hmm.
He had that on his arm too.
Interesting.
It's very impressionistic. So the sets don't look real. Everything is weird angles, doorways are like trapezoidal shaped. Makeup
Sure.
is really intense to like highlight features. So it's not trying to look like a real movie. It's trying to be it's a piece of art.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Did it make you want to see more old movies?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. All right. You didn't mind the black and white and the reading.
Well, it actually wasn't black and white. There was like a hint of color to go with it.
Okay.
Like when they were in the town, there was like a hint of yellow, and when they were in the queen's room, there was like reddish pink.
Interesting.
Yeah, they like dyed the film. So
Sure.
each scene had a different color. Or I mean, it was the same color, but it had a little different tone to it.
There's like a little tint.
Right, or like nighttime
one scene
scenes
to
were
the-
often in blue.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Blue or like gray.
yeah, so it's kind of a cool, like, even though it wasn't shot in color, they still added color to the final presentation.
I didn't know they did that back in the day.
Oh yeah, there's another famous one. I don't remember what it's called. I feel stupid not knowing it. I think it might be Sunrise, but it's like 4 different stories being told at the same time,
Mhm.
and each and they take place like different parts of history, and each story has a different color to it. So like when you're watching one story, it's all green, and then it cuts to Babylon, that's all in yellow. And this is another like 100-year-old movie.
Okay. Interesting. Well, it's been on my list for forever. I need to get to it. I wish I could see it the way you guys saw it, though. That would motivate me to get out there and get it done.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience.
For sure. This was your second time, Kyle?
Yeah, I watched it like on my computer with headphones, I don't know, 9 years ago or something.
A long time ago.
A long time ago. Yes. So.
Sure. So you watched it to check it off a list, I'm sure.
Right. I watched it because not that it was homework. I enjoyed it, but it was definitely like, oh, this is a famous, being one of the first horror movies. It's on a bunch of lists. I should watch this movie to be a completionist.
Is it basically a Frankenstein thing?
No, it's do you want to tell them?
Yeah, it's this really long word that I forget how to pronounce. It goes like somnambulist.
A somnambulist.
Yeah, somnambulist, which is, found this out, a sleepwalker.
Okay.
His name is Caesar, and he goes around and like murders.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dr. Caligari, who keeps Caesar in his cabinet, wakes Caesar up at night and has him commit crimes.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's sort of it's a bit of a police investigation. It's a horror. It's a real 4-quadrant movie.
Nice. Well, I mean, the fact that it made it all the way across the pond and, into film history is kind of impressive for a movie that old.
For sure.
There's not too many German films from the 20s that people want to champion.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a thankfully it was a apolitical movie.
Right. For sure. Awesome. So what's your next old movie that you're going to watch, Galen?
I don't know. This is actually my second old movie because we watched this one on YouTube, which is, I forget what it's called, but it's black and white, no sound at all. It's a short film. It's a guy trying to build his house with his wife that he just got married to, but some other guy. Like back in the old days, I guess like they had numbers of on boxes, like what you'd build first and stuff. So he switched up the numbers, and then his like house turns into this like weird, funny thing.
It's Buster Keaton. It's like 28 weeks or 20 weeks or something like that, or 20 days. I can't remember what it's called. It's a short. And yeah, it's about him building a prefab house.
Sure. Is that one of the ones where the house falls over the guy?
So that's actually the first time he did that stunt.
Right.
At a smaller scale. And then he did it again in Steamboat Bill Jr., I think it's called. And he on a much bigger scale. And everyone talks about Steamboat Bill Jr. because of like, oh yeah, like he did this stunt, and the lore is he was depressed that day and didn't care if he got squished or not. I was like, he did it 5 years before that, just on a smaller scale. So
clearly knew what he was doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like if you just so. But yeah, I was thinking like The General, that could be a really cool one. Because that's Buster Keaton just doing a bunch of stunts.
Yeah, I could see that. I got a few recommendations, maybe.
Oh, okay. Let's see what James has to say.
What about well, this one's in color, but maybe I think Galen would really like Gone with the Wind.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Or if that doesn't work, maybe Birth of a Nation. That one's in black and white.
Oh, no, we're we're definitely not watching Birth of a Nation.
Okay, well, if you don't like that, there's a really good one called Showa.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Showa.
Yeah.
Right up Galen's alley.
Yeah. Well, should we just watch Salo while we're at it?
Maybe. I mean, that's up to you. You might want to watch it first just to make sure it's appropriate, but maybe. I haven't seen that one, so I couldn't tell you.
I think it's really a movie that a father and a young son should watch together for the first time.
Well, that's up to you. That has nothing to do with me. Totally up to you.
I want to go to Common Sense Media and see what they say about Salo.
Okay.
They're like, no one should watch this.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think possibly, Galen, you are the youngest full-fledged guest on this podcast ever. What do you think about that?
That's impressive.
It is impressive. I agree.
This
Very
podcast is
impressive.
also older than Galen.
It is. It's older than you by
Yeah.
2.5 years or so.
Yeah.
This started before you were born.
A
We'll go with
twinkle
born.
in your daddy's eye.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to go that direction. So welcome, Galen, I think is the point.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say before we get into our housekeeping for this week?
No, not really.
All right. Perfect. Well, then let's do it. Let's talk housekeeping and then we'll start talking about the wild robot. Maybe we'll play a game after the wild robot and then talk wolves. Does that work?
Yes, someone will need to go to bed before wolves. So
Okay.
yeah.
Perfect.
Well, I actually saw a clip of wolves because when we were like me and my mom were gonna watch shows in the morning, like we were going like we usually watch like 3 cartoons and go to this vet show. So she was scrolling up and it went to the Apple little app on my TV and it showed a clip of it. And
Nice.
and all I know is that what I saw in the clip, it was like the main guy was the guy from Ocean's 11.
Well, I think they're both from Ocean's 11 technically.
Yeah,
But you mean what's his name?
George
Danny.
Clooney?
Yeah,
Danny
George
Ocean.
Clooney, who played Danny Ocean in the Ocean's movie.
Yep.
So I guess he's the main guy. I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think he's the main guy.
And name Brad Pitt's character in Ocean's 11.
No clue.
Exactly. Yeah. Who knew? I can tell you that. I can tell you Linus. It was Matt Damon.
Okay.
Saul is Elliot Gould. And then after that,
It doesn't matter.
It
after
doesn't
that,
matter.
I don't think.
Matt
Yeah.
Damon.
yes. Galen has seen the supercut from Team America
Team
World
America.
Police.
Sure.
Just the supercut of him saying Matt Damon. So
Perfect.
yeah.
All right. Before we jump into the wild robot, I need to remind you there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out there. Search Cinereelists, REEL with an S on the end. And you can watch while you listen. You can also support the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists. You could leave us an Apple podcast review. That's free. 5 stars only. We'd appreciate that. You could also send us a listener email to heyguys@cinereelists.com, REEL with an S on the end. Send a comment, a question, a list suggestion, a movie suggestion, any of those kinds of things. And we will read it and discuss it on a future episode. You guys ready to get into the wild robot?
Yep.
Let's do it right after this clip.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Hello. This Gosling is yours.
Negative. That Gosling stalks me, emits noise, and makes simple tasks more complicated or impossible.
Yeah, they do that. Goslings imprint on the first thing they see, which would be you.
Congratulations.
As far as he's concerned, you're his mother now.
I do not have the programming to be a mother.
No one does. We just make it up.
Without an assigned task, my next priority is to return to factory.
Taking care of him is your task now.
Task acquired. Return mode delayed. A Rosm always completes its task.
You're lucky you just have one. As a mother of 7.
That was The Wild Robot, a 2024 American animated science fiction survival film based on the book series of the same name by Peter Brown. This movie was directed by Chris Sanders and features the voices of Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, Kit Connor, Bill Nye, Stephanie Hsu, Mark Hamill, Catherine O'Hara, Matt Berry, and Ving Rhames, amongst others, although that's most of them.
Yeah.
The official IMDb plot synopsis for The Wild Robot is: after a shipwreck, an intelligent robot called Roz is stranded on an uninhabited island. To survive the harsh environment, Roz bonds with the island's animals and cares for an orphaned baby goose. What did you guys think of The Wild Robot?
It was good.
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it. It's my new favorite movie.
It's your new favorite movie. Wow. That's high praise.
Yeah, I liked it. We read half of the book together.
Nice.
Yeah, we're halfway through the wild robot. So
Sure.
Didn't get
If
we
you
didn't get to finish it in time, but still
Yeah.
enjoying it.
if you had the choice to see the wild robot again or see the cabinet of Dr. Caligari in a movie theater with a live organ player, which one would you do?
Dr. Caligari.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I was impressed.
Wow.
I was impressed how he could like do this. Like what he did like makes sense. Like all the keys.
Oh, the organ
Sure.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, did they have sheet music, or like was it always improvised by whoever was running the music?
I got the impression that it's mostly improvised.
Mhm.
A lot of silent films didn't come with music, and it was
Mhm.
kind of up to the in-house orchestra or bands to sort of figure it out.
Sure.
This guy had sheet music, and he said it was a combination of like some stuff that other people had composed for it, and there was some classic organ tunes thrown in there also.
Mhm.
So I imagine now there's like traveling music for a lot of these, but back in the day, no. Very rarely was there actual music for them.
Sure. I mean, I know it's been out on physical media in various versions for
Right.
decades now, so there's got to be music on those.
Yeah, but I don't know if what he played last night or on whatever the other night was the same as like the Criterion edition.
Sure.
Soundtrack,
Sure.
so,
That
yeah.
makes sense. Okay. So Galen liked it. What did you like about it, Galen?
I like the artwork.
Sure.
I like how it like I can't really say like the whole book, but I like how it like kind of represented the book.
Mm-hmm.
Like if like it had like it like it was very close to the book.
Okay.
Like it was very very close to the book.
So you like that it was faithful to the book?
Yes. That was one of my
Yes.
favorite parts.
Nice. Was there anything in the book, at least the parts that you've read, that wasn't in the movie?
So do you remember like the fox?
Yeah.
It was in the book. Not trying to spoil the book, but
It's okay. You can spoil the book.
the guy's name like it's not like so like we did see this character in the movie, but like not like as the main one. Like the fox is replaced with Longneck or like close to that.
Mhm.
And we see him like later in the movie when he's like flying with the flock.
Okay.
Yeah, in the book, Roz and Bright Bill spend more time with the other geese.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And they
So-
traded that for more time with the fox.
with
at
the
beginning.
fox, right? Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
That makes
Um,
sense.
Yeah, and the other thing, no, obviously this is an adaptation, so they can't keep everything faithful. At
Mhm.
least what we've read so far, Roz spends a lot more time acclimating the other animals to her and sort of being like a helper around the islands,
Mhm.
and that's how she earns trust. And this movie, a little shorter version. I think it had her like help the fox, and
Sure.
they did the shortcut version of that.
Right.
The
That makes
beavers are a
sense.
lot more involved. So yeah, this movie definitely chose to focus more on the fox and Roz and Bright Bill as kind of the three main characters.
Yes.
Mhm. Can one of you give me a description of the plot of the movie?
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, the movie starts. We're on an island,
Mhm.
and a bunch of crates full of robots, helper robots,
Some of them are dead.
have crashed upon this island.
Well,
And-
actually, all of them except Roz.
Right, yeah, and the rest of
Spoiler
them, all the crates are smashed, and the robots inside are destroyed, except for this one robot, Roz, who gets activated.
By some otters.
Right, exactly, by the otters. Doesn't really know where she is. Her programming says when you wake up, you'll be with your new family or your new home, and you can just start helping right away. So she wakes up on this island that's uninhabited by people and wants to be a helper right away, but it's just full of animals that see her as a monster.
Mhm.
So she, over time, kind of starts to show the animals that she's not a monster. And one of the ways she does that is by raising a gosling whose nest she accidentally crushes. So she adopts the gosling as her own and starts raising this gosling on this island.
Perfect. And she needs to teach the Gosling 2 things, right? Or 3 things?
3 things.
Yeah, what are those 3 things?
I don't think that's a spoiler, right? The 3 things aren't a spoiler.
Fly by fall, swim.
Yeah, eat. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it
so
eats.
so this robot nicknamed Roz is becomes kind of an I don't know, uneducated mother figure, I guess you'd call it. Reluctant mother figure.
Reluctant's a good word, yes.
Sure. To this duckling that's also like a runt, right? And it's an ugly duckling. It's like not the pick of the litter.
Right.
And it's done by the same people who did that one movie that you love that you wanted me to see that I haven't seen. It's an animated movie based on the Shrek series.
Oh, Puss in Boots?
Yeah. They did Puss in Boots
Last
3.
Wish.
They did Last Wish.
2.
Is the art style in this like the Last Wish?
Kind of. This one seemed more drawn out to me.
Sure.
I don't know if that seemed like to you. But
No, there was definitely like a I would call it painterly. Like a painter. It was like somebody painted it, even though it was 3D animation.
I would say
cool looking.
Puss in Boots Last Wish is like halfway between this movie and your standard Shrek animation.
Okay.
It's a little impressionistic, but not quite as impressionistic and watercolory looking as this movie was.
It's a transition movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right.
And fact, Roz's full name is Rozum1412.
Okay. I wonder what that means.
Pretty close. That's just the robot name.
Like
I know, but it's got a. I bet it stands
model.
for something.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's somebody's address or something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's an Easter egg. The 1412.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah. Also, totally going off subject.
Mhm.
No, here on Cinereelists, we always stay on topic. It's a rule.
No, go off topic. It's all
Go
good.
for it.
So in the collectible minifig series, if you get one and you see like a bunch of numbers, that's just Easter eggs to their creators.
Are you talking about
okay.
like Lego minifigs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if there's a number on a minifig, it means something. You just have to figure out what it means.
Yeah, like if they have like a ticket or something that has like numbers on it, that's an Easter egg to their like creators.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Next time I'm looking at a minifig with a number on it, I'll have to know what it means.
James, what did you think of the Wild Robot?
I liked it quite a bit. I expected to like it. It was more a question of like by how much, just because the early word was good and it came from the team that like did the impossible and made me even remotely interested in a Puss in Boots movie, even though I haven't watched it yet. After seeing Wild Robot, I'm now more inclined to eventually watch Puss in Boots. Which says something for sure. Because I watched all 4 Shrek movies in the movie theater. And luckily my son, who's 26 now, but when he was a little kid like you, Galen, I had to take him to movies I didn't want to go to. And that included at least the last 2 Shreks. The first 2 I was fine with, but after the third I was like, all right, I'm over this. And then by the fourth it was those movies are bad. And so, yeah, point is, I couldn't imagine ever wanting to watch a spin-off of a Shrek movie, but now I do. What were you going to say?
I've seen Shrek 1 and 2.
Not 3 and 4?
No.
You seen Shrek 2?
Yeah.
Oh, well, news to me.
Do yourself a favor and just stop right there. You never have to see 3 and 4. You're not missing anything. If you ever get the feeling like you want to watch Shrek 3 or Shrek 4, this is what I want you to do.
You're getting me angry and want to watch it, but I could probably have.
Get it?
Well, I have regrets if you make.
Get a paintbrush.
Okay.
If you want to watch it, just instead get a paintbrush, put some paint on it, put it on the wall, and just stare at it. Just watch the paint dry. That will be more interesting than Shrek 3 or 4. Okay? It's a better use of your time to watch paint dry. than to actually watch those movies. No, I liked it probably more than I thought I would. Like I thought I would like it, and then when I left the theater, I was like, that was a good movie. It was very streamlined. Like there was just no fluff on it. Like you guys have talked about how you've read a good deal of the book, and you know, maybe they streamlined some of the getting into the movie type of stuff, setting up the plot. And I didn't feel like they didn't give me enough. Like I felt like I had enough information so that when things really started happening, I was already bought into the idea that I cared about these characters. And if I had one complaint just from a script point of view, it's that I thought the funniest character was the beaver.
Oh, yeah.
And so I could have used a little more of that over the course. And the guy who did the voice of the beaver is hilarious. Like that guy is in the a show I like called What We Do in the Shadows. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard that one. Yep.
Yeah. It's about vampires, but they're like funny vampires who like decide that they don't want to kill anybody anymore. And they're vampire roommates, so they fight like roommates and stuff like that. It's silly, but I like that show. And I remember watching him on the IT Crowd, I think is what it was called back in the day, old British show. And he was on another one that was like a mock soap opera. That's a British show. Anyway, that guy's hilarious, and I was excited to hear his voice in that movie. In fact, he was pretty much the only one I recognized until like once the credits rolled. Then I was like, oh, there's a lot of people in here that I know.
I didn't recognize Pedro Pascal, which I feel ridiculous saying now. But
absolutely, I mean, I recognized Ving Rhames clearly.
Yes,
I mean, you can't not recognize him, but pretty much everybody else, like. If you had told me Lupita Nyong'o did the voice of Roz, there's not a chance I would have guessed that.
Or like Catherine O'Hara as the possums.
Yeah.
Oh,
it makes sense now, but in the moment, there's no way I would have guessed it.
You said the possums are your favorite part, right?
Yes.
They were good too.
It was a very dark joke.
Yeah.
What was the dark joke? I don't remember.
So, like the possum is telling Roz about parenting, and she says she's a mother of 7 possums. Then do you hear like a tiger growl and then a scream, and she says, then maybe 6.
You don't remember that? Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah. But then it survives, right? Doesn't it come back?
Yeah, spoiler. It survives, and you know, the possum's like, I'm okay, and mom's like, yay, great.
Sure. Zach last week told us about how he had to leave the theater a little bit into the movie because it was a little too scary for his kids, which are considerably younger than Galen. So it makes sense. But in watching the movie, I understood. Like this movie, the first 20, 25 minutes is pretty intense, I would say.
Yes. Well, and then we saw it with our friend Theo, who holds Theo.
Yeah. Oh, no, Gene.
Well, we saw it with Gene and Theo.
Yeah.
Right? And Theo was Gene's son. How old's Theo?
5.
And was he a little scared?
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely say, like, for littler kids, this movie, you want to check on your little kids for this movie. It's definitely a little older little kid movie.
It's intense, and it was like rapid fire at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like she's like constantly meeting different other animals, and she's like, you can't tell if the animal is going to be nice to her or not, type of thing. And everything's danger. It's a little bit of like I don't know what you would call it. They're setting up kind of a false pretense here, where like the animals are just surviving on the island, and so that's why they're kind of reacting extremely to each other.
Exactly.
But I liked that element, but I can understand why a young kid would not be excited about it.
A little scared of it.
For sure.
I will say, when the movie started, like once she was on the island, at first I was a little unsure of it, just because the book is a little bit more meditative, if that makes sense. You know, and like she's running around like slapping stickers on animals, and I was like, oh, this is a little more like slapsticky than I was expecting.
Sure.
But then when the movie, which I still found funny, but then when the movie really got into like her raising Bright Bill and becoming this surrogate mother, that I really felt like captured the heart of the book.
Yeah, I mean, after you get over the initial shock of like her landing on an island where she has no context for the animals there and stuff like that, or what her job is, she's trying to figure out why she's there.
Exactly, yeah.
Once that segment is over, the movie slows down and you get to sink into the characters quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really impressed by the animation, and I think there's a lot to be said for kind of the painterly look.
Mhm.
The fact that they picked a lane and really ran with it. But I think the bigger accomplishment is in the writing of the movie. Like, I think no amount of cool graphics would have saved, can save a movie that's not interesting to watch from a plot perspective. And I thought this one was interesting. Like, as an adult, it held my attention, and that's not easy to do, even for live action movies made for adults.
Yeah, would you say this movie is like for families, right? Not just a kid movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a family movie.
Yeah, maybe like if you go see it in a movie theater, like make sure you're like, I know kids can't go to the movie by themselves unless they drive there or live close. But if you're a kid and your parents let you do that, because if you live close and you ride your bike and you're like still on training wheels, like, and I'm not saying kids who are still on training wheels, and parents let them watch kind of violent movies, not saying that you're not old enough to watch this movie, but maybe like little kids, if they like bike down with their movie tickets and they saw the wild robot, they'd probably want to bring their like mom and dad down, because there was some intense parts of the movie.
That's your recommendation.
Yes.
Bring your parents.
Maybe we can say this isn't for the training wheels crowd.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not saying, like, there is some kids who still have training wheels, and there's like they're in 4th grade, because I know 4th graders who still have training wheels on their bikes. So yeah. So
We're just talking broadly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like maybe under 6, maybe go with an adult, or even 5.
Okay, so we're not using training wheels as the barometer here.
Yes.
We're using
Right.
6 or younger.
Yeah.
Bring your parents. Otherwise, you can go alone if you can get there.
Yeah, 7-year-olds hop on that bike, training wheels or not. Go see this movie.
Nice.
Leave early if you want.
I'm kind of bummed. We should have had Zach, like my son Zach, on, because I saw it with him too. We could have had a son off.
Oh, this could be a very special father-son episode.
I didn't even think about that. We should have done it.
Oh well.
We could have played trivia, Galen versus Zach.
But then host Zach would have been felt left out if he couldn't have his son on also. So
that's true. It might take a little while.
Right.
For Jacob. Especially with that movie, I would say.
Well, considering that Jacob saw the first 20 minutes or so and was like, nope, we have to do a retrospective on this one.
Sure. Okay, Galen, here's the $1 million question, all right?
Yes.
Was there anything you didn't like about The Wild Robot?
No,
nothing.
Not at all. I loved it.
It's a flawless movie from beginning to end.
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Kyle?
Again, having not finished the book, I don't know exactly what direction it goes in, but there's some off-island action, we could say.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought that was interesting.
Wait, there's off-island action?
Remember when you like
the flock?
Yeah, and they like fly into that like big like futuristic city.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes, I do remember that. I also wasn't in love with the ending. We don't have to talk specifically about it for people who haven't seen it, but I didn't like where they left the characters physically, where they left them, if that makes sense.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Because it kind of felt like a setup for another movie.
Yeah.
As opposed to like how, if you were truly trying to end this in like an interesting, satisfying way, how you would end it, if that makes sense.
I know there's more books So I'm sure they're adapting those. But you're right. It did kind of feel like not a cliffhanger, but like next time on the Wild Robot.
Well,
Like
you could go ahead.
there's 2 more books. One's called this next one in the series called The Wild Robot Escapes, and the second one is The Wild Robot Protects.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it felt like the ending that they gave us could have been one and done, and it would have been okay. You know what I mean? It was an okay ending that way, but that they also clearly left it open for more if they want to do that.
And based on the box office for this movie, I imagine we're getting another one.
Really? Did it do well?
It's doing well enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a grower too. Like I feel like my theater, we saw it Friday night at 7:00, which is pretty much prime time, short of like Saturday night, maybe slightly busier night. And my theater was maybe 80% full.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is great.
We saw it on a Friday, like after work. How full is our theater?
Like, there was a few open seats, but most of the theater people were filled in.
Yeah, it was pretty full.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it was a variety too. I mean, we had like families as well as couples in our theater.
I don't think there was a single person under 18 in my theater.
Well, you went to 7:00 on a Friday. That's
I know, but still, I mean, I guess if you went at like 3 in the afternoon, there's probably more, but like none. It's not like we saw the 11 p.m. or something like that. Like 7 p.m. is not crazy late. I bet you've taken Galen to a 7 p.m. movie before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Captain Dr. Caligari was a 7 p.m. movie.
No,
What's the latest movie you've ever seen, Galen?
Cabinet Dr.
I don't know. Yeah, probably around 7:00. I don't think we've done much later than 7. Even Megan doesn't want to see movies later than 7:00. Like her preference is I want to go to the 7:00 showing at the latest. So
no midnight movies yet?
I want to do a midnight. I'm planning on this new year. Like I just stay up watching the full rerun of my favorite cartoon until 12:00, and I throw a big party by myself while I'm watching cartoons on the couch.
Nice.
I'll be in bed.
This has nothing to do with anything, but I have to know, Galen. If there was one movie that you could watch right now, even though your dad doesn't want you to watch it yet, what is that movie?
Can I have 2?
Okay, you can have 2.
RoboCop and Terminator.
Okay.
Yeah.
First Terminator or Terminator 2?
I don't care. I mean, I already saw a clip of Terminator 2.
Okay.
And there's the part where he flies under the bridge with the helicopter.
Oh,
the bad
yeah,
guy
yeah.
does.
That's a good part. Yeah. You might be able to get the TV edit of Terminator 2. Just wait and watch the real thing, though.
I've probably said this before. Like Terminator 2 is rated R. That's a soft R, I would say. That's a big budget Hollywood R.
It's not a scary R. It's just there's 1 or 2 scenes that maybe need some context.
A little grotesque, yeah. But it's not like a RoboCop R though either. Like RoboCop is gloriously violent, and that's the point of the movie.
Right, but RoboCop, in my opinion, is like so unrealistic that it's like watching a cartoon.
Right. For an adult, I think for a kid though, yeah.
You're talking to somebody who watched it when he was like 12, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It never bothered me.
I always thought it was around the same age, 12 or 13. Yeah.
I always thought it was silly because it was so over the top.
Yeah.
Which it was intentionally over the top. It's like part of the commentary.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Reverse of that question. What's a movie that your dad has shown you that you don't like it? Why did he show you that? That movie sucked. Or if you can't think of one that's like that, just tell me the one that you liked the least that he made you watch.
That's hard. I liked a lot of the movies he made me watch.
I wasn't sure when we were watching Clue. I wasn't sure if it was hitting or not.
Oh, that was definitely hitting.
Okay, that was hitting. All right.
Okay, you liked Clue.
Maybe
Yeah.
if you asked my mom, she'd probably say that's probably the worst that she made because she didn't really
Yeah,
like
Megan
it.
did not care for Clue.
Sure.
So
I mean, it's an interesting one, and I could see maybe it might be dated to somebody who like has never seen that movie
it's a movie of its era.
for sure.
And there definitely
Yeah.
were some jokes that were a little over the head on this one over here. So
I
Right.
didn't even get any of them. I love the Clooney. It's just like the board game.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty similar. Okay, back to Wild Robot.
Sure.
Anything we haven't talked about yet?
Are you excited for Wild Robot 2, which I assume they're making?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really tell if I'm excited because I don't even know if they're making it yet.
Well, I mean, I would say, was this your most anticipated movie of the year?
Yes.
Because I remember you saw the trailer on YouTube and you were like, Dad, come see this trailer.
Yeah. Also, there's a Dogman trailer.
Oh, yeah,
Dogman.
we can get the Dogman in a second.
Okay.
But yeah,
I can go quickly grab a book.
Do you want to grab a Dogman book?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'll be back.
All right,
Okay.
we'll wait in silence.
But yeah, I mean, definitely, I did not know about this movie until Galen brought it to my attention.
Nice. Is this the first one that like he's championed to you?
I would say so,
Like that?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's like, we gotta see this.
Right. Ooh, this is perfect timing. I just got a text from Zach,
Okay.
and he said pandemic vibes over here, and it's 3 pictures of just empty shelves. And I'm assuming a grocery store.
Oh yeah. I saw a photo on Reddit of the bread aisle at Publix
Okay.
that's completely cleaned out. The bread aisle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
You know,
why?
this is because I think bread's a staple.
Right, but like it would have to be really bad for us not to get deliveries of bread.
I think people panic buy, right? You hear it's a bad storm, you don't know.
I mean, I was at the grocery store on Sunday, like I am almost every Sunday. That's like my routine is like at
Right.
some point on Sunday, I'm going to the grocery store. And I bought like a thing of bottled water, which I normally wouldn't do. So I understand picking something up like a necessity, but why would you buy more bread than you already need?
In case maybe you just don't know how long it's going to be until you have access to food again. I think people are just preparing for the worst, and Milton just happened, and like people in North Carolina are like, oh, it won't be so bad for us, and now their house is washed away. So I think there's just some
Right, but if your house is
overpreparedness
washed
going on.
away, your bread's washed away.
Right, yes, I mean, in the worst case scenario, if that's the case, but if you're thinking like, well, the roads might get washed out, the highway might get washed out, or something like that.
Yeah. I think it's just people who need something to do. Like they don't know what to do, and so they just spend money.
So they buy all the bread.
More bread than they're ever gonna need. And it's just gonna go bad. It's be wasteful.
Yep.
And then the people that really need a loaf of bread can't get one because people overbought bread for no reason
Now
whatsoever.
they have a dozen loaves of bread.
Ridiculous. Plus, like, what about the lettuce? Why aren't we panic buying the lettuce? Because we're addicted to carbs. in the
Right,
US.
exactly. Because lettuce isn't filling, James.
I'm just saying, like, clearly we're picking and choosing what's important here, and it's bread for some reason. Bread and
Meat.
toilet paper.
Meat and potatoes.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Okay. Are we going to look at a book? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Tell me about this before you show it to me.
so Dogman is this comic book,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like it. I have all the books in the series, and this is the first book. I think there's something like 16.
Okay. I've
Oh.
seen that guy somewhere. I don't know where, but
Yeah.
I've seen that drawing
So that's
Or
the
that-
book, and
that
then,
character anyway.
yeah,
Right.
And then they're making a movie of it. It's not about the book. It's just taking characters from the book and like things like machines that the bad guy made and turning them into the movie.
I'd say
Nice.
from the trailer for Dogman, it looks cute, and it looks like it's the same vibe as the book, and it's sort of humor and presentation.
Okay. It's also a DreamWorks movie, just like Wild Robot.
Man. I mean, Wild Robot is the best Pixar movie of the year.
We've been calling that movie the wrong name, by the way.
Is it The Wild Robot?
It's called The Wild Robot. We gotta get it right from now on.
Okay.
Put some respect on that name.
Details matter.
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't any wild robot. It's the
Wild Robot.
Right.
Yep.
At the end of the movie, no disrespect alert, she says, "I am a wild robot." So yeah.
Oh, she says I'm a wild robot though.
Oh, they need to rename it.
Oh.
Should be called A Wild Robot.
Right. That implies there could be more than one wild robot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They really were setting it up for a sequel.
I remember her saying something like that. Maybe she didn't say I'm a wild robot, but maybe she said I am the wild robot. I don't know, but she was something like that. I don't know which one it is.
Galen, you might have said this and I didn't hear you, but evidently Dogman was written by Dave Pikey. Pilkey?
Yeah.
The Captain Underpants guy.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Sure.
I don't have any Captain Underpants books.
No?
Sadly.
You don't like him?
No, I like Dogman better.
Okay.
Better.
Are you allowed to have Captain Underpants books, or we're just not into them?
I'm just not into them.
You got it from the library before.
Yeah.
And you watched the Netflix TV show.
And the movie.
Oh, that's right. It's a movie too. Yep.
Sounds like you're a fan.
I'd say more of a lover.
Okay. Let me give you some voices of people who are going to voice characters on Dogman.
Okay.
I need a reaction from Kyle specifically.
Sure.
You can give us a reaction too, Galen, if you know these people.
Hey.
Pete Davidson.
Is he the voice of Dogman?
He's Petey.
Oh,
Yeah, Petey the cat.
Petey's the bad guy.
Yes.
How do you feel about it? You don't like Pete Davidson, right?
I have nothing against Pete Davidson.
All right.
I don't think he was a great SNL cast member, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Lil Ray Howery plays
the
Chief.
Oh, I'm pro.
Okay. I'm pro Lil Ray Howery in general.
Exactly. Yeah.
After Get Out, he can do no wrong in my mind. Isla Fisher.
Oh, is she Nurse Lady or is she? Who's the reporter?
Sarah Haddoff.
Sarah Haddoff. She
Okay.
is Sarah Haddoff.
Yep.
And finally, Ricky Gervais.
Oh, sure. I don't know how he stays relevant. Like he just doesn't really go away. It's like 20 years. He's just sort of always on the fringe, always kind of hanging out.
Sure. I used to be a really big Ricky Gervais fan, and at some point it just wore off. I don't know what happened. It's not like I saw something where I lost interest. I just started to get annoyed with him, and that was the end of it.
Because he doesn't evolve. He's just doing the same thing for like 20 years. And after all, like, okay, I get it.
It could be. I mean, I liked The Office. I liked Extras. I liked his podcast. Like, I was a fan. And then at some point I was like, okay, I don't like this anymore.
What was he? Was he trying to be a shock? I mean, I guess maybe not shock comedian is the right word. But like on Extras in The Office, was he trying to push boundaries or was he just doing comedy?
I felt like he had something to say back then. And
Okay.
it was comedy, but it was like very dry,
Right.
almost anti-comedy. And I got to be honest, I liked it because some people didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it was kind of counterculture at some point. And then he did a show called An Idiot Abroad, which is like a travel reality show with his podcast co-host. I loved that show too. Then he did one called, I don't remember, but it had Warwick Davis in it.
Okay.
Who played Wicket.
Yep.
In
Willow. Oh, and Wicket.
And Willow. Yep. For sure. And that was good too. And then he did one, I don't remember what it was called, but by the third reality travel show, I was like, I'm out.
Yep.
I'm done with this. Anyway.
Cool.
Kate McCucci's in it. Melissa Villaseñor is in it. These are good comedians.
Yep.
For sure.
Good voices.
I'm into it. You guys will have to see it and let me know how it is.
I'm looking forward to Dog Man. I think it'll be a fun one to see together. Yeah.
Nice. You still didn't tell me a movie that your dad made you watch that you didn't care for. You like them all.
Yeah.
There's not one that you like a little less.
I just pick great movies. I know him so well. Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that if I can think of one that we watch where I could tell you are kind of like, I don't know about this one. I'll let you know. But I can't think of either one where there was definitely nothing where it's like, what are we watching? Why are we watching this? So
all right. Fair enough. Okay. Anything else to say about The Wild Robot? Are you guys ready to letterbox rank it?
Yeah.
Have you ever letterboxed ranked something, Galen?
Galen has a Letterboxd account.
You do?
I created it for him when he was born.
Nice.
You know, like some parents like will get a Gmail for their kid.
Sure.
Yeah, I created a Letterboxd account. And I used to, like, for the first 4 or 5 years of his life, I actually like kept it up to date.
You just like marked things as watched for him?
Or I log diary dates. I'm like, oh yeah, we watched this
Right.
movie. And then at some point he started watching things on his own without me, and I kind of fell behind, and now it's so it's a bit out of date, Galen's Letterboxd account.
But if you ever want to know what you watched on the exact date you watched it in your first 5 years of life, it's sitting there waiting for you.
Yeah, there's a record, and if you ever want to then revive it for yourself, you can just jump right back in.
I can tell you're real excited about this, Galen.
You know, as children, we don't always appreciate in the moment what our parents do for us.
For sure. Your dad opened a free account on a website and wrote down every time you watched a movie.
That took effort.
It did.
I had to log out of mine and log into his.
I agree. It's cool. I wish my dad had done that. I'm going to call him after this and
oh yeah, for sure.
Chew him out for not registering for a website when I was a child.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Okay. So to letterbox rank something, you have to give it 1 to 5 stars, but you can do half stars. So you could do like 3.5 or 4.5 or 1.5, or maybe just a half. Any of those.
Can you go over the limit?
Well, that's technically against the rules, but maybe we'll make an exception. Okay. We'll see. It's up to your dad. I can't decide for you. He's in charge of you, so
I don't want to put parameters on him. I gotta let him flourish.
Okay, fair enough. I understand there's no limits in this household.
Right, good. Exactly. No, we don't say no. we just say, I'm sorry that. No, I'm joking.
Perfect. What are you gonna give it, Kyle?
I've been between a 4 and a 4.5. I'm gonna say it a 4 right now.
Okay.
But I'm sure we'll watch it again. It may be a 4.5 on rewatch. We'll see.
I'm also going to give it a 4, but it could very easily be a 4.5, maybe even a 5 over time for sure. Maybe. Like the first time I saw Iron Giant, have you seen Iron Giant, Galen?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. First time I saw Iron Giant, I probably would have given it a 4.
Right.
But now, after seeing it like 5 or 6 times, it's a 5 for sure.
Every time you watch it, it creeps up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you going to give it, Galen, out of 1 to 5 stars? 5 stars.
Oh,
wow.
Jumping to 5.
Okay.
Nice.
You told me 6 at dinner. So.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So 2 4s. What do you want to do?
If I wanted to go over the limit, I'd definitely give it a 6.
Well, you can give it a 6.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 6.
You just can't give it a 6 on Letterboxd. They don't let you go that high. They're not like your dad. They're very strict. So 2 4s and a 6 for The Wild Robot. It was fun talking to you guys about that. Let's play a game. We're going to play Chain Reaction at the suggestion of Galen. We're going to play Chain Reaction. Do you have somebody in mind to start the game of Chain Reaction with? A person or a movie. You could start with either.
Let's start with a movie.
So what's our order here? Like Galen will say a movie, and then I'll say an actor, and then James, you'll say a movie,
Right. And then Galen will say an actor.
and then Galen will say an actor.
No, I don't know a lot of actors, so what if we go? Daddy says a movie.
Oh, on this podcast, James is daddy.
Oh, okay. So
Good job, daddy.
someone says a movie, and then the other person will say an actor from that movie.
Okay.
And then another person will say movie that the actor was in. We just go on and on and on and on and on until someone can't think of an actor.
Are you gonna play, or are you just gonna kick us off here?
Kick us off.
Okay, so
'Cause I don't know a lot of
Galen
actors.
will give us. He'll give us the prompt. He'll give us the movie,
Okay.
and then you and I will go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, that sound good?
Yes.
All right.
Your movie is wait.
We're checking the stacks here, the collection. He's thinking very hard about what movie he wants to start us with.
Nice.
I think he's reading all of them, so we may be here for a bit. Oh, okay. Right here. So say it again.
John Wick 2.
John Wick 2.
John Wick 2.
Who goes
Okay.
first, me or your dad?
I don't know. Rock, paper, scissors.
You choose. You choose.
James.
All right, James. John Wick 2.
Keanu Reeves.
So then I need to say a movie that he's in.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
We're playing that you can't back people in the corner.
No.
What do you mean you can't back people in a corner?
So basically, like, you could pick somebody super obscure because you remember a super obscure name.
Oh yeah.
But if I can't get a movie with them, you have to. Or else
Exactly.
it's my point.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Yeah.
Right.
Like I could think of obscure Keanu Reeves movies, but then I don't know who else is in them. So
Right.
Oh.
Exactly.
wait, okay. You said Keanu Reeves? Okay, I got it. I
Mhm.
got it.
Matrix.
Always Be My Maybe.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a movie with Keanu
That's a
Reeves
movie
in
he
it.
was in?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think maybe you're lying.
Well, can I tell you who else is in this movie?
Always Be My Baby? Hold on.
Always Be My Maybe.
Always Be My Maybe.
Maybe. Yes.
Always Be My Maybe. Well, at least let me guess.
Okay, take a guess.
Always Be My Maybe.
Always Be My Maybe. I'll even tell you what year it came out. Just I don't know if that's going to help you at all. 2019.
Okay, so relatively recent.
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna say Always Be My Maybe. Sounds like a romantic comedy or something. So it's
Okay.
probably like, I don't know, some lady who's probably 10 years at least younger than him.
Okay.
What's the actress from that movie that has time travel in it? That's also a romantic comedy.
The Time Traveler's Wife?
Nope.
Is that?
That's not a romantic comedy.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Time
Wait,
Traveler's
are you
Wife.
thinking Rachel McAdams?
Yes, Rachel McAdams.
Okay, is that your guess?
Sure.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
1.1.
It's
What?
Ali Wong and Randall Park.
Oh, right. Oh, that's the Netflix movie.
There's
right.
a Netflix
He's
movie.
barely in that.
No,
He doesn't even count. He's not even in it. He's cameoed.
He dates Ali Wong. He's like the evil boyfriend who's not that evil that Randall Park has to get through. He writes a whole song called "Best Believe I Punched Keanu Reeves." I would say he is a pivotal part of that
A
movie.
new movie.
Well, as somebody who's never seen it, I disagree.
Okay, well that'll be 1 point to me. But then Galen will give us a new movie, and then I will say the actor this time.
All right, Galen's gonna get us another movie. There he
All right.
goes.
Oh, we're
Off
going
get
back
us
to
another
the
movie.
collection.
I got a fun game we can play with Galen.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
when we're done with this.
we'll do a couple of these. We do have a bedtime approaching here, so we can't keep them up too
Sure.
late. It is a school night.
All right.
But okay, you got it.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
I think you go first this time.
There's no one in Pulp Fiction. It's the smallest cast I can think of. The first one comes to my mind. We've already mentioned him, Ving Rhames.
I knew you were going to say that. Ving Rhames. I mean, clearly Ving Rhames has been in other things.
Yes, he has an acting career.
I'm just trying to.
I love the fast-paced nature of chain reaction here. Just
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam.
This is why we don't play it very often. Because when I play it, it takes forever. Okay. Ving Rhames. Just trying to channel Ving Rhames.
I say maybe when we play this game, you have to it's gotta be like word association. Like the first movie that comes to your mind, instead of like thinking like what's the obscure one? Like what's the one that just comes to your mind? And then we just go bam, 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 bam. And eventually someone will get stuck in a corner.
I'm just trying to remember which one that Ving Rhames was in.
So most of them is the answer I'll give you.
Sure. Mission Impossible 3?
Ooh, I don't know if he's in that one.
That's what I was saying. I know I don't think he's in every one of them, but I think he's in 3.
You know what? I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I think he might make an appearance in that one. I don't remember. So
was he in the first one? I don't think so. I think by the second one he's in it.
I think he's in 2. And then he like makes an appearance in 1. And then like by the time it's like 4 or 5, he's like in the crew.
Okay. I should have gone later.
Yeah, well, it's fine. We'll do Mission Impossible 3. All right, Mission Impossible 3 has a lot of people, including
Tom Cruise.
Okay, Tom Cruise. All right, Galen said Tom Cruise.
All right. Tom Cruise. Sure. Yeah. Tom Cruise. Oh man, I had a really good Tom Cruise one, but I'm not sure I can pull
Okay.
the other person in it.
Yep.
There's two people in the movie I want to say, but I can't remember their names. Can I just convince you that I know one of them?
Sure. Yeah.
If you can't complete. I'm not sure that's even true though.
I don't think.
James okay. I know.
Okay.
I know.
Go.
All the right moves.
All the right moves.
Mm-hmm.
Never even heard of that movie.
Football movie. Tom Cruise. I watched it maybe a month ago.
Okay. I bet you that in All the Right Moves, I'm guessing it's an 80s movie.
Right.
Right. And my first guess is Scott Bakula, but I think he was already in Necessary Roughness. So I thought he did 2 football movies in the same decade. So instead, they probably have Jamie Gertz is probably in that movie.
I don't know who that is. So
it's an 80s actress.
Maybe.
So I have no idea.
No, Craig T. Nelson, coach.
Oh, coach.
He plays the football team coach.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Well, no. Oh, sorry. James he's got his first point. Okay, so it's tied. 1 for me, 1 for James.
Okay, this is the last one.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do a tiebreaker here.
Yeah.
Okay. Pick a good movie, Galen. And then I think James gets to go first with the actor. Who else is in that movie besides Craig T. Nelson? For All the Right Moves.
That's a good question. There's the female, the actress in it was the one I wanted to say, but I couldn't remember her name. But it's the girl from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, Sloane?
Leah Thompson.
Oh, Leah Thompson. Oh, actually, Leah Thompson was a really good guess.
From Back to the Future. From Back to the Future.
Oh,
Leah Thompson's
the
mom.
Mother.
The mom in Back to the Future.
Yeah. All right. Ooh. You got it? You got the last one? Okay. Here you go.
How old do you think Leah Thompson is?
I mean, I think Leah Thompson's the same age as Michael J. Fox, so probably 50s.
Little older. I think Michael J. Fox is in his 60s at this point.
Oh, is he in his 60s now? Okay.
Your movie is Jaws.
Hold on, we're trying to figure out Leah Thompson's age.
Leah Thompson is 63, which feels
63, okay.
feels young to me.
Yeah. Okay. Good for her. Well, probably because we're used to her playing all these different ages anyway.
Yeah, that could
She
be.
really is timeless. Okay, Galen, what is our final movie?
Jaws.
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 Jaws. See, the challenge with Jaws isn't coming up with somebody that's in it. It's coming up with a movie that then I can back up. So, how about Richard Dreyfuss?
Richard Dreyfuss. Yep. And he's in a lot of movies.
Just name one of them.
Just name one of them.
Yep. Just name one. I mean, I could name one, but I think I would then be backed in a corner that I can't get out of. I can picture another actress in it, but I don't know her name. So I'm not gonna go with that
movie.
Huh?
You're gonna change the movie?
I'm not gonna go that route. So we're just gonna go. Let's go Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Close Encounters. You have somebody to back up Close Encounters?
Yeah.
Interesting. I really don't. Let me think. Maybe I can just pull a Spielberg regular.
Sure.
There's no such thing as a Spielberg regular now that I think about it.
And he tends to use a rotating cast.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, like, he only made one movie with Tom Cruise, right? No, he made two.
Yeah.
Minority Report and
War of
the Worlds.
Yep.
What about with the other Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks.
Did he make two with him too?
He did The Terminal and Catch Me If You Can and Bridge of Spies
and Saving Private Ryan.
And Saving Private Ryan, of course.
He made a ton with that guy.
I would say Tom Hanks was maybe his muse.
I'm pretty sure the Toms are not in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, though.
No, and I definitely can lock in. So you gotta.
Oh. I don't know. I give up.
Bob Balaban.
Bob Balaban.
You know this guy. You know this face.
I do.
Yes, you're gonna be. Oh, that guy. The minute you see him, you're gonna be like, oh, it's that guy.
I know the name.
Yeah,
I know this guy too, but who thinks about Bob Balaban ever?
I do when we're playing Chain Reaction.
Fair enough.
I also think the mom of the kid is named Terry Garr. Well, I wasn't 100% on that one though, so I didn't want to go Terry Garr.
Bob Balaban's in a lot of Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah, he's got a face.
Have you seen any Wes Anderson movies, Galen?
No, I don't think Galen's seen any Wes Anderson movies.
No Isle of Dogs? Isle of Dogs is great. He would love Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, you could see Isle of Dogs.
Or Fantastic Mr. Fox is
good
too.
Yeah, you seen Fantastic Mr. Fox? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, he's seen one.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, he's seen one.
Yep.
Yep. Also starring Danny Ocean.
Have you seen Isle of Dogs?
Yeah, I saw Isle of Dogs. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just rewatched that recently. Hey, let's play one more game.
Okay, so is Bob Balaban in Close Encounters?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, all right. So, ta-da! I won.
Kyle wins.
All right, let's do one more game before we gotta send someone off to bed for school tomorrow.
Okay, Galen, you ready for a game? I'm gonna describe a game to you. Okay. This game is called Say Anything. Okay.
I'm saying anything right now.
You are exactly.
Happy.
You're primed to play this game. Okay. This is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Saying random stuff is my special.
Well, you're gonna love this game then. You and your dad are gonna think, but not say out loud. You're just gonna think a word or the name of a movie or the name of an actor or actress. Okay? Do you have one in your brain? Could be anything.
Let's both think of a movie, okay? Okay, we'll play
okay, you can both think of a movie. That's fine.
Okay.
Think of the name of a movie. Do you have one?
Yep, I have one. You have a movie in your head?
Yes.
Okay.
Could be anything. Okay. On the count of 3, you're going to say the name of that movie out loud at the same time into the microphone. Okay? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Raiders of the
Zoolander.
Lost Ark.
Okay. So Galen said Zoolander.
Okay.
Kyle said Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay?
Yep.
When I say 3, 1, 2, 3, when I say 3, you're going to say a new word. Okay?
A new
What you're
movie.
going to try to do is say the same word that your dad says.
Same movie. Okay.
Okay? So you have to use the movie that you said and the movie that he said and try to think of a word that kind of matches in the middle. Could be anything. It doesn't have to be a movie title.
Wait, would
What-
that be a word?
You could take the name of it, right?
Yeah, take the name. Can I choose a different movie?
No, you're
we'll
good
go
with this.
We'll go with this.
There's a word inside the name Zoolander that I bet you know a lot about.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
Take that little word and think of another thing that's related to Indiana Jones and the what? Last Crusade?
Yeah.
No.
Or maybe
Raiders of the
just
Lost
Indiana
Ark.
or maybe just Indiana Jones. Maybe
Yeah,
think
Indiana
about
Jones in
Indiana
general.
Jones.
Yep.
Maybe think about Indiana Jones in general and the word that you know in the title that you said. Can you think of a movie that relates, or not a movie, a word that relates to both of them? Do you have it in your brain?
No, I don't know. I have no idea where James is trying to take us on this journey.
I think I do.
Okay. Kyle?
I want James and Galen to say the word at the same time. See if James
Okay.
convince Galen what this
We can
word
go
is.
back and forth.
Okay.
Let's do it.
'Cause I don't know where James is going with this at all.
Okay, so me and you, Galen, we're gonna mind meld right now. Okay. You got a word in your mind?
Yes.
Okay, on 3, we're both gonna say our word. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Crowds.
Crocodile. Okay, crowds and crocodile. Okay, I said crocodile, you said crowds. Now we're gonna take those 2 words and we're gonna try to figure out where crowds and crocodile intersect. And we're going to try to come up with the intersection. Well, actually, you and your dad are going to. So where do you think
Okay.
crowds and crocodile, what word can you
Okay.
come up with off of crowds and crocodile?
I have a
You
word.
got- Do you have one in your brain?
Word? Well, it's a letter. Do letters count?
Maybe a full word would be better.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. Okay. I got you. You got a word locked in?
No.
Okay.
Hey, how about you and James? Cause
Okay, we'll keep going in a circle.
Me and James
Okay,
will try.
crowds and crocodiles. Ready?
Right. Yep.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Zoo.
Gatorland.
Oh, what'd you say?
Gatorland.
I don't know what Gatorland is.
You don't think
Well,
about
I mean,
it. It's pretty
I-
obvious.
Okay, I know what it is that you say it, but like it's not the first thing because I don't live in Florida, so it doesn't come to my mind.
Sure. Okay, so Gatorland and zoo.
Gatorland and Zoo. Is this me and Galen now?
Yes.
Okay, Gatorland and Zoo. Gatorland and Zoo.
Oh, I know that one.
Okay. all
Okay,
right,
you guys
hold
both
on.
have a word?
Yep.
There's really no wrong word.
I know. We're trying to get to the
It's
same.
whatever comes to
What
mind.
happens if you
right?
say the word? What if you say the same word?
Then we win.
Then you win.
That's the point. Yeah. Okay, Gatorland.
You're trying to guess what your dad's gonna say.
and
Oh,
Zoo.
Oh, I think I okay.
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 I think I got
You
it.
Ready?
probably don't. Okay, ready?
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Alligator.
Alligator.
We got
Nice.
it. We got it.
Good
Nice.
job. It's fitting you guys won the game.
Yes.
So that's Say Anything. It's the easiest game to play ever. If you ever want to
Yeah.
play with your friends, you just come up with a word. You each come up with a word on your own and you try to land on a word and see how many times it takes you to get to the same word.
Yeah, that sounds like that's a fun game.
You don't
And the
have to
bus.
lie. You don't have
Yeah.
to lie to me. It's not that fun.
No, he's very polite. Wait, no. Galen, what did we say? Oh wow.
That we used to play that game on the podcast a lot and we don't anymore.
Right. And I think it's fun with movies to try and like start on 2 separate movies and get to the same movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
All
All right,
right,
Galen.
Galen.
I heard you have a bedtime.
Yes.
Well, don't let me keep you from it.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Here, wait. I think I have a Galen goodbye.
Good night.
You have a Galen goodbye?
There we go. There he goes. See you, Galen. Thank you. All right. We got another movie to talk about this week. It's another one that is fairly new. It's on Apple TV now. The title of the movie is Wolves. We're going to get into it right after this clip.
What the happened?
Yes, okay. So I'm like, I wasn't trying to make any money or anything, like be a drug dealer. Like I've been taking classes at Pace. I've been trying to learn business, some business classes, because, you know, people are going to try and you with like law and legal shit unless, you know how it works. So I'm taking these classes, and there's this dude there, and he's like legit. He is from some real shit, but he's like so smart also. I mean, he's like basically a genius smart. And today, his mom died. Like, he got this call in class, and his mom was in the hospital, and she died because they didn't like give her the right medicine or some like they up. So I'm just like, dude, whatever you need, dude. And he like trusts me, like we hang out, and I told you he's legit, like no around. So he's like, I'm supposed to do this job for my boss, and now I can't. And I was like, say no more, I will do it. Like I don't do this kind of shit. So he gives me the and I'm like, are you serious? But his mom just died. So I say, okay, dude, I'll do it. So I'm killing some time.
That was Wolves, a 2024 American action comedy film written and directed by John Watts. Starring George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Amy Ryan, Austin Abrams, and Poorna Jagannathan, I think.
Sure.
The official IMDb plot synopsis for Wolves is two rival fixers cross paths when they're both called in to help cover up a prominent New York official's misstep. Over one explosive night, they'll have to set aside their petty grievances and their egos to finish the job. Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds about right.
It's a pretty vague but complete plot description, I would say. What did you think of Wolves with an S?
Right. Well, at first I was bothered that it's not wolves, because that's the plural of wolf.
Right, but
I
it makes
realized-
sense because they're individuals.
Right. And I realize in this case, wolf is like a proper noun. It's like a title. So,
Right.
yeah. If you're doing like the animal, it's wolves. But in this case, they're each a wolf, like as a fixer, a cleaner, a lone wolf. So that's why they're wolves.
Yeah, and also they don't want to be in a pack of wolves.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
They
Yes.
intentionally want to be their own wolf. So
Yeah, they both think that they're the best at this job, and the only person who actually does this job.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is the kind of movie where it's a streamer. It seems like, oh, let's get, like two hot actors, or, have them. It reminded me of The Instigators, if that's the best way to put it. Another Apple TV movie we saw with like Matt Damon and Casey Affleck.
Sure.
Right. Like, let's put them in a funny situation and just let their charm carry the movie. And this movie should just be middle of the road, but it just like Instigators, it charmed me again. I'm a sucker for these middle of the road Apple TV movies.
Oh, I like this way more than Instigators.
Okay, I liked it more than Instigators too. All right,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you say that also.
I mean, this isn't a top 20 movie or anything like that, but it was way better than Instigators.
Yes.
For me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And for me, like the joy of this movie is just having George Clooney and Brad Pitt sort of being not angry at each other, but annoyed with each other through this whole movie. As you have these two men who are both fixers, right? They get called to the same job. Neither one is used to working with someone else.
Mhm.
And it's kind of interesting because you have George Clooney playing like the old grizzled experience cleaner, and Brad Pitt is kind of coming across as like the young guy, but he's how much younger than George Clooney? He's not that much younger than him.
Sure.
So that was an interesting dynamic. But at the same time, I don't think Brad Pitt has aged a ton in the last 20 years anyway. So
Yeah, whereas Brad Pitt definitely does not look like he did in his like late 20s, early 30s.
no, but
He doesn't look
I mean,
super
wait,
old, but
you
he
mean George
looks
Clooney?
older. No,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no. Brad Pitt looks very different than he did 20 years ago, whereas I feel like George Clooney has looked like he did in this
I
movie
see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
for the last 20 years.
Right.
Like he
So, yeah.
always looked like an older gentleman, older distinguished guy.
Right, yeah, because I feel like he had like the gray hair on the sides in the 90s. He's always been a little gray, and that just kind of carried him through his career. So, but yeah,
Absolutely.
I enjoyed watching these two try and go about their craft while also just being annoyed that the other one is there. Because they each
Mhm.
have like their own secrets and how they are the best at being a cleaner. And, it's a bit of a pissing contest of like, well, how would you handle a situation? How would you?
Mhm.
I thought the moment with the key fob that had me laughing out loud
The moment with the key fob.
when they're in the parking garage.
I don't remember it.
And yeah, so George Clooney is leaving with it. He has to go get his car, and there's
Mhm.
like the gate right to the parking garage. So he does
Right.
like his whole thing, like, oh, I'm gonna stick a traffic cone in there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then Brad Pitt's like, kind of shy. I have a fob, and then Brad Pitt purposely makes the gate come back down so that way he has to like use the fob to let him in. And like again, it's one of those things where that's the pissing contest of it. Of like
Sure.
I can be useful too. And Brad Pitt just does that little like jog, like when someone's like jogging towards you to give you something. I don't know.
Mhm.
To me that was great comedic timing of that whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the vibe between them and the way
Yeah.
they made it build. Like at the beginning, they're very suspicious of each other because they both
Right.
have this huge ego as far as like what they they have a lot of pride in their job, I would say, as a fixer. They think they do it better than anybody else could possibly do it,
Mhm.
basically. And so they're suspicious of each other that, in their business, essentially covering up crimes for rich and powerful people.
Right. Yeah.
It's the type of thing that you can't be bad at and do for very long. And so these are like seasoned guys who've been doing it forever and just assume that like their way is the only way to do it and not get caught type of thing. Like you have to do it in a very specific way. And so when they come across each other and they're forced to work together, they are suspicious and worried that the other guy's not going to be as good and it's going to screw up, their whole systems. And then over the course of the movie, I appreciated that they saw in the other person themselves. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like they were
Yeah.
constantly getting reaction shots to like, oh, you did it exactly how I would have done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
these little nods of approval to each other.
right, basically,
Yeah.
without ever coming to a conversation where they're like, you know what, you're all right. Like that never happened in the movie.
Maybe at the very end it did. Like,
See, I felt
Well,
like
having-
even then it was all like with a wink and a nod.
yeah.
It's never like explicitly said like, hey, we should go be partners or something like that. Like you never get
Right.
that feeling. You just get the feeling that like over time they recognize that each other has figured it out to the point where they would have done the exact same thing
Yes.
as the
Yep.
other person was doing. So I liked that it was shown, not said, I would say,
Mhm.
which is always a challenge in movies, right?
Yeah, but I think this movie is able to. Through these two actors, through their reactions to each other, right? You could see the building of respect throughout the night because this movie does take place over one night.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
being said, there's a lot of saying in this movie, not a lot of action. Like there's a little bit at the end, like a foot chase at some point, but that's about it.
So, and I don't know about you, for me, that foot chase took way too long.
It was pretty long.
Yeah, like I felt like they chased that person across half of New York City. It was just going on forever, and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And I think that it was supposed to be kind of funny given the person that they were chasing and how they were dressed, we'll put it.
Right. But how long is that going to be funny?
Right, after a while, that got to be a little long.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of them driving around having conversations with each other.
A lot of that. So if you're not
Yeah.
into that, then there's not much here for you. I think is the point. It's like if you don't buy the chemistry between Clooney and Pitt
Yes.
and like the situational, element of it all, then there's not much to hang your hat on here because that's the bulk of the movie for sure.
With the exception of like one scene at a party, this felt like a pandemic movie.
It could have very easily been.
Yeah.
that.
Just with, it's
sure.
always only 2 or 3 people in the space together. Again, there's one scene at a party where like, okay, this is obviously a large group. But other than that, it's just small scenes together.
Yeah, I did like Austin Abrams' performance too, as kind of like the kid that
He's the
gets-
kid. Okay.
Gets dragged around throughout the movie. Like I thought he was believable, a believable foil.
Yeah, he has this sweetness and innocence and obliviousness to the whole situation.
Right. Yeah. He's not a perfect human being, certainly. Like he's gotten himself in this awful predicament.
Right.
But you can see that he didn't get himself in the awful predicament because he's an awful person. He did it because he wants to be accepted. He's dumb.
He's a bit naive. Yeah.
Right. Naive is a better word for it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then he sees an opportunity to be the cool guy and takes it, and that gets him into the trouble of the evening.
Right. But I think the script was good enough.
Yeah.
But overall, the performances probably elevated the entire thing. Like you get these two guys in a room together and they get to go back and forth, and they already have a chemistry they bring to the table through years of working together.
Right.
And if you, as an audience member, bring that history along with you on top of that, they didn't do anything that violated that chemistry. They just built on it, basically. And so I think it was a winning formula that would be hard to mess up, and luckily they didn't.
Yeah, this seems like an easy point. Like, okay, let's not try too hard. These are the stars. Let them do their thing, and we'll throw some action in there to keep people going.
Right. I also like that the movie didn't go overboard with the moralizing. Right. These are like two guys who cover up crimes. Right. They turn a blind eye to bad things all the time.
They're immoral people.
Right. And
or
so
amoral, maybe. Yeah.
There is an element to like, well, are they completely gone or can they be affected? Right. Like in a positive way. And I thought the movie did a good job of balancing those elements. Like you could easily see the audience turning against one of these guys if they go too far, one way or the other. Too far nice, too far mean. And so I thought they gave it a good balance of like, well, they're not good guys, but they're also not impossible to reach.
They're still human.
Right.
They're not robots. Yeah.
Or murderers.
Yeah. Well, they are. I would
murderers
assume,
of innocent people.
Yes, I assume that they've killed before.
Right, but as best we could tell, they've never done that. They're never hired.
They're not hired killers, but they may have killed to
out of
clean
necessity.
A situation up. Exactly.
Oh, you think? Oh, you mean like a witness?
Yeah, but like I imagine.
Well, now that I think about it, you're right. They might have done that. So maybe they do kill innocent people.
Yeah, I imagine that these characters have killed before. Like if you're a cleaner for these high profile clients, and not just politicians, they talk about working with like different crime gangs. They're probably not hitmen, but there's probably like, hey, we've got a situation. I need you to deal with it. I'm sure they've dealt with it before. But right, in this movie, it's not as maybe those other times, they don't get into it. But I'm assuming those other times it was pretty clear, like, we've got to deal with this, or, this already is a bad person. So, karmically, you're not, tilting the scales at all. But in this movie, they're definitely presented with more of a conundrum of, if we were to be fixers, we have to deal with this a certain way. But that also has consequences of who's being hurt without getting too much into spoilers.
Right.
But like you said, the movie doesn't spend a ton of time on the moral quandary of this. Like it's always kind of there, and they talk about it, but they're also not, like agonizing over what do we do? How do we deal with this?
Yeah. Or maybe that's what they've done in the past, but they never visualize it in this movie.
Right, exactly.
So like, if they were offing innocent witnesses, like at the beginning of this movie, it would have been harder to get into the characters. They keep it for what the subject matter is on the page. It's a pretty light movie.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Not like take your 9-year-old to it light, but
it was one where I was like, oh, it's rated R. Okay, we're not gonna watch this. And it's there's definitely language, there's some violence, and there's some
Sure.
other things going on. I was like, okay, yeah, this is good. I'm not gonna take my 9-year-old to watch an R-rated movie anyway, but
Sure.
like there's definitely some PG-13s. Like, yeah, that's a fine PG-13. You can watch that.
Right. He hasn't seen Ocean's 11 yet.
He has seen Ocean's 11.
Okay, because that seems
Yeah.
like is that rated R or just PG-13?
That's PG-13.
Okay.
And I mean, there's nothing terribly outrageous in Ocean's 11.
It's probably just a little language here and there, right?
I think it's a little language. There may be a PG-13 F-bomb in there, maybe.
Right.
But other than that, yeah. And what 9-year-old has not heard the F-bomb? Let's be honest.
I don't know.
Well, mine surely has.
Maybe one that doesn't speak English.
Okay. what child in American public school has not heard the F-bomb?
Okay. Fair enough. I'll give you that.
There is one other element of this movie that did not work for me.
Oh, okay.
So, like, there's the main plot of these guys have to clean up this ever messy situation.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also the kind of this subplot of, well, how did they get in this situation in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a quick rat-a-tat-tat, like that explains it all, and then they just kind of move on. And I was like, I don't really care if there's a bigger conspiracy or not. Let's put it that way.
I agree, but also I appreciated the speed of the explanation. It's not like they hung on that very long. They were like,
no. I mean, it's almost one of those things where they had a conversation where they know information where we don't. Where they'll be like, "Oh yeah, then that's right," and then the other guy, and then you got the right, and the Croatians, you're right, and then it was over. So It was one of those things where like they were connecting the dots as characters, as normal people would, but as an audience member, I was like, okay, can we use some nouns here or something?
Right, and it was also like a resolution to something that was not material to the point of the movie, or
right. It
like
didn't
why
need
you would enjoy it.
Right. There doesn't have to be a bigger thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt unnecessary to me. It didn't hurt the movie. Like I wasn't like mad at it, but
Mm-hmm.
it didn't really do anything either. So
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed my time watching it. Certainly, I don't have any huge complaints about it. But also in the same sentence, I won't watch this ever again. Nor will I remember the bulk of it.
no, I will maybe even forget I saw a movie called Wolves with George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Right. I'm more likely to remember Wolf with Jack Nicholson from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Nope. I remember it
Good.
coming out when I was a kid though.
All right.
The trailer was scary.
Nice. Kyle, I have an assignment for you. Are you
Okay.
Will you take on the assignment, or do you have to hear it first?
I mean, I can accept the assignment and I'll take a did not complete if need be. So
It's not much of an assignment if you don't accept it.
no, I can accept it, then not complete it.
Okay. Fair enough. Do I get to chastise you for not completing it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I accept. You should see Cop Car, the movie Cop Car, with Kevin Bacon, directed by John Watts, the same guy who directed Wolves. He also directed John Watts directed the Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man movies. Cop Car is great. It's Kevin Bacon plays a cop, and he is a dirty cop who gets out of his car, not really thinking about leaving his keys and the car running to go do something he shouldn't be doing as a dirty cop. And two young hooligans, like young teenagers, like practically tweens, steal his cop car.
Oh.
And so he has to chase down these kids, but he can't call the rest of the force to come get these kids and his car
because he's a dirty cop.
Because he's a dirty cop, and he'd have to explain like how they stole his car.
Yeah,
basically. And it's one of those like small world movies, you know what I mean, where the bulk of it takes place like in this little tiny town. And it's a small budget movie that Kevin Bacon was randomly in, and it's great.
Yeah, it's 88 minutes.
It's a short one.
Yep.
In, out, pretty much all action, and it's a fun one.
All right, and it's added to the watch list.
All right.
I'll wait for it to pop up on a streamer somewhere.
It's one of those where, like, I don't want to think real hard or read subtitles or, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to have some interesting, fairly high concept thing happen, and I just want to soak it in easily. That's Cop Car.
Those are the kind of movies I watch on like a Saturday night. Like Meg and I, we're done hanging out. She's going to bed. It's like 10:30. I'm not ready to go to bed yet. I'll put on like an hour and a half. Don't even think about a movie.
Sure. This could be one of those that you start before she goes to bed.
Okay.
And then like 20 minutes in, she will know whether she wants to watch the rest of it.
Oh, okay, for sure. Yeah.
But I think there's a chance.
What
little I know of Megan, I think there's a chance she might be like, okay, I'm in. This is weird and fun.
She watched Wolves with me last night. It was like way past her bedtime because I was like, yeah, just sit on the couch, fall asleep next to me. And then she was awake for the whole movie. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, Cop Car is what he got the Spider-Man movies off of.
You have sold me Cop Car. I did. Yes. I will add it to the watch list.
About time.
Yeah.
Anything else with wolves that we need to talk about?
There was one dangling plot thread that bothered me.
Okay.
They never cleared the tapes.
That's true. They left before they could do that. They were arguing about how they were going to go do that, and then they didn't.
And then the chase happened, essentially.
I think the assumption is that by the end of it, everybody got what they wanted, so the tapes wouldn't matter.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay. I was thinking maybe at the very end they'd be like, "Oh crap!" That'd be like a button, a comedic button,
like a freeze frame right at the end.
Exactly. I mean, the movie practically ended with a freeze frame anyway.
Yeah.
So
it really did. All right, let's letterbox Wolves. What are you going to give it out of 5 stars?
3.5.
I also gave it a 3.5.
Perfect.
Which was a full star higher than The Instigators, which I think is pretty fitting.
I gave Instigators 3.5 also. I might need to bump it down 0.5 star because I definitely like this one more.
You're not going to bump Instigators up?
No,
4 stars?
No, I'm not going to give Wolves 4 stars. So Instigators can only go down. Wolves cannot go up.
Nice. All righty. So a 3 and a 3.5 for Wolves.
No, I gave 3.5. We both gave 3.5.
I thought you were going to bump it down.
No. I'm bumping Instigators down.
Oh, okay. This one's staying. Okay.
Yeah.
2 3.5s for Wolves. Good movie that I'll never watch again. It's a perfect Apple TV Plus movie.
Perfect movie. I'm sure both those guys made $2 million and worked for a week.
And they actually did something that was watchable and worth at least one viewing.
It was worth my time. I'll keep Apple TV for another month now.
Yep. More than I can say for The Instigators.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us for this episode 652 of the Cinereelists. We appreciate your listenership. Don't forget there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out there. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists. Leave us an Apple Podcast review. That's free, 5 stars only. Or send us a listener email to heyguys@cinereelists.com. All of the links to do those things are in the description of this episode. Check it out there. You could also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok @Cinereelists, or you could follow me on my personal Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, or Letterboxd @YoJRB.
You can find me on Letterboxd @PeterSKB. And I believe Galen's Instagram account, Letterboxd account, if you want to follow him, I think it's Galen P.
Okay.
But I'm not one. Galen P is his Letterboxd account, which I have not updated since January of what year? I don't know. January of 2023. Oh, okay. It's
That's
it's
not
only
that
been a
long
year.
ago.
Okay, it's not that long ago. I really thought I fell off a little longer than that.
No, I mean up till he was like 7, practically.
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to see my diary. I want to see his diary.
I wish I had a somewhat accurate documentation of every movie I ever saw.
Oh,
that would be
yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
I would love that. I still occasionally will be, flipping through Letterboxd for some reason or another, and then I'll see a movie and I'm like, have I seen that? And I'll read the description, watch a trailer, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have seen this. I was like 7 or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Saw it on the Disney Channel or whatever. Yeah, it's shocking to me that I can still find movies that I've seen that I do not have marked on Letterboxd.
Yeah, that kind of come back to like, I forgot I saw that.
For sure.
I think if I spend an afternoon, an hour or two, I could probably look at my diary, figure out the movies that Galen has seen, and port them over to his diary.
Sure, and the only ones you wouldn't know are the ones he secretly watched behind your back.
Or watch with Megan, or watch for like
Sure.
a school function or something like that.
Or watched from behind the couch.
He hasn't done that in a while.
Sure. All right, guys. Not sure what we're gonna do next week. We'll see how we fare with the down here in Florida with the.
We don't
with the
even know
hurricane.
if James and Zach will have homes next week, so.
I'm sure we will.
No, you guys will have homes.
I'm sure we'll do an episode. Hopefully, I'll have electricity by then. It would really suck if by next Sunday night there was no electricity around here.
I've always wanted to do a solo episode. So,
to be honest, if that's the case, if there's no electricity here by next Sunday night, I'll still record because I will not be here. I will have found electricity by then.
Yeah,
there's
you'll
not
be
a
in
chance.
Georgia or something,
There's not a
so.
chance I will still be here if there's no
All right.
electricity by next weekend. For sure. Either way, we'll see you guys there. Until then, keep it cinereal.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.